In a decade, Wikimedia spending has soared from 10 million in 2010 to 112 million by 2020. This surprised me, seeing as Wikimedia seems to be functionally the same website it was 10 years ago. Really?
What's the deal with LexX Editor?
I don't know. We're going to chat later. It probably serves way more articles today than it used to, and it probably serves it to way more people.
Where can we find more information about your event in Texas? Are you wanting DGers to show up?
Yeah,
Keep up the great work,
I think it's
buddy.
posted on my subreddit now. The website hosting cost $2.4 million, which is less than it did in 2012. It cost $2.4 million? That seems really expensive. Oh my god. I guess it serves, it's mainly, no, it's not just text, I guess. It's other stuff too, multimedia. But damn, that sounds really expensive still. Okay. This is cringe. You know what? I've been like, my brain is like poisoned. Because technically there's nothing wrong with this, but I know that the people that wrote it have a stupid understanding of all of it. So it's actually horrible. Even though there's nothing really wrong with any of this. The Wikimedia Foundation defines racial equity as shifting away from Eurocentricity. We do live in a very Eurocentric society. This is true in the art world. It's true of almost everything. And there are ways that we can kind of like shift our perspective to be a little bit more, not even just understanding. Fuck understanding. We can incorporate different perspectives of different groups of people around the world to strengthen our own understanding of a more holistic understanding of the world. But the problem is how this is probably going to come off as it's like those math books where it's like black people are too stupid to keep schedules because that's a white man's thing. So like people can show up to class whenever, or like stupid shit like that. White male imperialist patriarchal supremacy. Why would you have male and patriarchal in the same thing? It should just be white imperialist patriarchal. Why, like sticking male in there twice? What is there a is it a fuck? What am I thinking of? Is it a Rick and Morty episode, or is it something else where there's like a person speaking like, you white male demon oppressor white. What am I thinking of? Does anybody know what I'm thinking about? What am I thinking of? Gazorpa Zorpfield? Oh wait, it might have been. Oh yeah, wait. This is what these people sound like sometimes when they're just reaching for like
idiot. Come on, Gazorpa Zorpfield, go easy on me, huh?
You dumb, stupid, weak, pathetic, white, guilt, milquetoast piece of human garbage.
Jeez,
this is what it sounds like sometimes when they're like writing their shit out. It's like it's like you're trying to reach for every fucking negative buzzword that you have in your vocabulary. These modes of privilege mentioned above function as a setting the dominant social, political, legal, policy-oriented, and cultural norms around the world. Racial equity means acknowledging explicit and implicit affirmative actions for white people. Jesus. They're proponents of an intersectional scientific method involving hyperspace. Is this real? Vanguard STEM is an online community and platform that centers the experiences of women, girls, and non-binary people of color in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. We publish originally curated content using culture to include a multiplicity of identities as a worthy recognition and thus redefine STEM identity and belonging. Vanguard STEM is rooted firmly in queer, black feminisms, which delineate that the experiences and critiques of black women matter and that these insights can foster restorative and regenerative construction of the cultures which exist. In describing how Vanguard STEM descends from counter spaces, we draw on speculative fiction to define a Vanguard STEM hyperspace as a fluid place-time that is born digital and enabled by social media but materialized in the physical world for specific purposes. As black women in STEM, we consider how our situated knowledges and scientific expertise inform our process. You know, something that I have done, I do this a lot in debates now. I don't know if you notice, and I hope other people start doing it too. I push other people to do it as well. When you're going to say something like this, give examples. You need to give examples. If you're going to say some weird shit like this, be like, As Black women in STEM, we consider how our situated knowledges and scientific expertise inform our processes, such as, here's a unique experience to Black women, and this is how it might inform a scientific process we engage in. Like, you have to do that. If you're not going to give examples, then fuck you. I don't believe you even. To be fair, this is the abstract. Do you think they have examples anywhere? Maybe they do. Jesus. Wait, link this YouTube video. I don't like that she didn't link this video. Let's see.
Perspective, but reading this this feminist work, we really called into question what is objectivity. And I love this quote where Donna Haraway says that objectivity is sort of a conquering gaze from nowhere. And I don't know about you, but that sounds real colonialist to me, and that's not what I'm about. How could I be, honestly? And so we really wanted to reimagine the way that we approach practice.
Okay, also, I'm curious. I'm going to start race checking Black people. She says that she's not colonialist. Are you African American, or are you an immigrant from another African country that does have a history of like, I'm super curious about that. Or does colonialism only count if you go overseas for it? Because a lot of African countries fight with each other and conquer each other. That's not only a European thing. I'm super curious now. And ever since that one woman emailed me, some Black woman emailed me a long time ago to fuck my brain up on African immigrant shit. I'm super curious. I want to know.
Practicing science as,
because you can't just look at somebody and go like, oh, you're African American, you're a descendant of slaves in the United States. You don't fucking know that. And if you're an African immigrant, okay, well, look at you real differently.
Not being neutral or unaffected, but to really talk about what Haraway calls our situated knowledges, which are the things that we know that we can only know because of the identities that we embody, our embodied observations. So we're talking about your culture and your specific identity and the expertise, the situated knowledge.
Who are these people? Why should we care about what random people are saying? Apparently, these people work for the company that actually runs Wikipedia, and these people are part of a company called Wikimedia, assuming this Twitter person is correct.
And, you know, buzzword here, biases, right? So we always want to talk about an unbiased approach, but is that really what we want? My desire to give to my community is a bias.
Holy shit, I'm so dumb. Oh my God. 1 second. Yes, true! Sorry, friend DM'd me and said, I think these people only care about Western colonialism. Actually true! Why? That is true! Or I'm sorry, these people aren't Wikimedia. They just they work for a company that gets a large grant by them officially. Vanguard STEM is one of the recipients of the Equity Fund grants from Wikimedia. Okay, sorry, back to this. Jesus.
Yes. And my interests can even be considered that way. And so we don't want to remove those from our approach to science. We want to talk about them and talk about the way that influences then the next steps of our intersectional scientific method.
If you want to talk about science, I think you should have to be a science person instead of just a philosophy or sociology person. I know maybe this person is. I'd be curious if they were, but I get really scared when the point of objectivity is not to be like erasing people's perspectives or blah, blah, blah. But I think it's supposed to have like the point of being objective about something is to have like some measurable process by which any third party can evaluate your process and determine the authenticity of whatever process you're using. Like that's the point, right?
So with that, the next step is then our embedded context. And so the embedded context acknowledges the conditions under which we practice science. And so that are the structural oppressions and barriers to practicing science, as well as our cultures and the things that influence basically what we deem as worthy of investigation, and then our ability to then investigate those things. So that embedded context informs the questions that we ask, the research that we do, what research we're able to do, what resources we have at our disposal to do that research, and all of that.
This person is a first year, well, maybe they're done with their PhD at this point. in life sciences, biochemistry, and molecular biology program. That's a pretty hard science, I would imagine. I wonder if I could get somebody like this onto chat. Today, in addition to working toward her doctorate degree full-time, Harriet volunteers for a live web series, Vanguard Conversations with Women in Color in STEM, whose mission is to increase the voices of women and non-binary people in STEM. The problem I have is that, like, again, on its face, this might not be bad. I just don't know how it plays out in the real world. So this idea of embedded observation, for instance, technical expertise, situated knowledges, biases, and lived experiences that inform perception. Something I brought up on stream before is one criticism of, what's the name for college students? There's like an abbreviation for this. I've heard that one criticism of psych research is that, like, the white, affluent, like 18 to 22 year old is the is like the most weird. Yeah, I think it's weird that a lot of psych research dramatically overrepresents these types of people: Western, educated, industrialized, rich, and democratic. So when you're reading a lot of psych research and it's like, oh, people tend to do this, people tend to do that, it's like, okay, well, hold on, careful, because when people are doing this research, it's dramatically oversampling these college students. That's where a lot of people do these surveys at. These represent as much as 80% of study participants, but only 12% of the world's population. So it might not be representative of humanity as an entire species. So, like, this could play out in ways that are okay, but I would say that if I'm donating to Wikipedia, I would expect, like, the majority of my funds to go to Wikipedia's upkeep. And I wouldn't mind if a portion of them are also used on, like, salaries and stuff for people maintaining the site. If my donations to Wikipedia were going towards grant money, that would bother me a lot. That would be really not cool. Curious as to why Wikipedia is using donations for grants I'm curious as to why Wikipedia using donations for grants would be not cool. Well, imagine if you did, let's say that I'm doing a political project to, like, help fundraise for canvassing across the country, and then you find out that 50% of that money is actually grant money that I give out towards, like, organizations. You'd probably be a little irritated. You're like, well, hold on, I thought I was just donating to support this canvassing shit. I didn't know that my money was being sent to, like, whatever, I don't know why my money is being sent to whatever you deem worthy to send grant money to, right? That might be shit that you super don't agree with. I don't think, to be honest, in these days, I don't think I would donate to anything. I wouldn't want any money that I donate to go to anything that uses the word, like, colonialist or white supremacist in it. I wouldn't be comfortable associating with any of those things, and I wouldn't want my money to go to any of those things. So the fact that, like, donating to Wikipedia might make that happen is a little bit... Wait, hold on. The person in the video doesn't even identify as a detrans woman. He's posting, look what hormones do to teen girls, because it's clickbait for bigots. No one cares when boys go bald, but girls invokes the mythos of precious white female flesh defiled? Bruv! Chill. It's funny because, like, it feels like in some ways ContraPoints got crucified so much by the crazy left, the crazy progressive lefts, that she kind of had to join them. And I think she did that. And it's funny because Vosh has done the same thing. But Vosh fought Natalie when they were doing the same journey, but he was in a different part of his journey. Because when Vosh fought Natalie, she was further left progressively than he was. So he ended up getting fucked by her after she'd gotten fucked by all the other people. It's like a huge weird cycle of progressives eating themselves alive. Destiny, she's kind of somewhat right, sans the exaggeration, isn't she? Yeah, but the problem is that, like, there's no place then. Basically, if you're a certain type of person, there's no place for you to vent or complain or, like, vent There's just no place for you. If you're somebody that had a bad experience with HRT or TRT or whatever, you're fucked. Like no one, either conservatives are going to farm the fuck out of your story, or progressives are going to say that you don't exist. It's kind of like when I want to talk about like cancel culture or whatever. The only people I can really have an intelligent conversation about that with are far right people, which sucks. It's annoying. Now I have the strength and temperament of character to not completely feed into their agendas because I'm a strong individual man who stands on his own. But like another person, I can understand being like very irritated by that. It's like, okay, well, I want to complain about cancel culture. No one on the left will listen to me. Everybody on the right wants to like put me up on a pillar. Like even when Sneeko says it, he's like screaming at me like, oh, look, you're an example of how they try to cancel. Like, fuck off, dude. Like I don't want to be your fucking token here. It's just irritating.